Another common escape from this situation, or a common mistake that we might have made on top, is that we either advanced up their body without taking consideration of this underhook, or we had an underhook and they've done a great job of taking it back like this. Something really, really simple that I would like to get the students to try to do, and I would like for them to try to understand as well, is the difference between their chin and their chest position up on their partner's shoulder, and a very, very simple move of their chin and their chest position to their partner's hip. Okay? When I have my chin and my chest on Adam's hip, I have his arm essentially pinned, and if we think about where he wants to go with the underhook escape, if you give us a bit of a lift there, Adam, when you think about where he wants to go in order to get down and grab my leg and get up, this is going to be severely limited with this move here, chin and the chest, okay? Also, this is where the chin and the chest should probably live for most of your side control, because we're going to be controlling our partner's hips. If Adam gets an underhook on me now, it's essentially useless, and he has a lot of work to do before he can start to pry and make that escape. Whereas if I'm hanging out too much on my partner's upper body, even if I have a semi-underhook here, if I'm hanging out too much up here, he makes the underhook and he's gone. So this staple over the hips is an important way to control your partner when they're flat on their back. It's an important way to control their partner when they turn up towards you as well. But so important is to communicate how useful your head position is. Okay, so our head isn't just stuck between the shoulders here and we're going to forget about it. The head is going to be very useful in these positions as a monitor of where my body is. Okay, if you think about my skeleton and my spine here, my spine going straight up the middle, it's aimed up here at Adam's head. This is going to just be completely ignoring his underhook, and in this situation, isn't this underhook the most important thing? Okay, so anytime I lose an underhook here, I need to change my chin and chest position. Okay, I can combine this with that same hand in front of the belly over here, and I should be able to avoid the escape, not with necessarily a big counter and a switch or a jump, or I should be able to avoid the escape with my positioning. Okay, so chin and the chest at the hip is good when he has the underhook. It's good when he doesn't have the underhook. It's good if he turns away like this. These are all good positions to try to hold, and using that head as a gauge of where the rest of the body is going to be very, very important. One thing that we would try to get our students to stop doing as soon as possible in the class, if you scoot towards me and inch at them, is, okay, I need to do something up there, and they look at it to try to figure it out. That's going to completely take my spine position and my control and my squeeze of my partner away. I could even suggest that students drill some of these moves with their eyes closed, because I should be able to develop it's simple when we think about it, a sensitivity to which part of his body I'm touching. For example, I know I'm on his hips, and if I go down his hip, well, there's his leg. If I go up his leg, there's his knee, and foot's going to be at the end, I hope. And same up here, if I reach and he blocks, what did he block with? That's his arm. I know if I come over the top, I've got his forearm. I know if I come here, I've got his bicep. I know I've got his head, boom, and I know I have got his shoulder. And it's important not to do it with our eyes closed, but it's important to be able to do it with our eyes closed, meaning that we're not taking that head to go looking, okay? We try to use the analogy sometimes of opening up a can of Coke, okay? If sometimes it's hard to get underneath the tab to open it up, sometimes it's very easy. If this is the tab, we need to make sure it is as shut as possible. There's also a big difference between taking your head and just putting it on your partner and taking your head and pressing it into your partner. We should use our head in the same way that we use our hands or a shoulder or a hip. An analogy that we like to use here, especially when we're trying to teach some of the kids, is that our partner has a weighing scales on their stomach, the same weighing scales that you might have in the bathroom or in the gym. Whatever amount of weight I give my partner from the start here, and it should be some, it doesn't need to be all, but it should be some. Imagine that weighing scales on his chest. Imagine it says 15 kilos now, okay? I need to be very, very sensitive to 5 kilos, 15 kilos, 30 kilos, and I need to make sure that I keep some sort of maintained pressure on my partner. If I cannot feel him pressing into me, well then I'm guaranteed that he can't feel me pressing into him. So very, very important to imagine that weighing scales on the stomach and to try to imagine the number staying fairly constant. If anything, it's going to go up, we are not going to let it come down.